Hi, welcome to Business Live. Just gone by where your commodities update. I am Pious Kojo Backah. Let's zoom in straight to our very first story, where the Ghana Stock Exchange could gain 12% return this year. That's according to a forecast by Data Bank Research. There is more for you in this report.
Data Bank Research said in its stock market analysis that the Ghana Stock Exchange will close this year on a positive note based on technical analysis of the stock market. It explained that most investors will favor stocks of high-quality companies with good fundamentals, defensive quality, and reasonable pricing power. These stocks can provide investors with consistent dividends. Among these favorites are MTN Ghana and the oil marketing companies. The research firm also expects agro-processing firm Benzo Oil Palm Plantation to do well this year, continuing its good dividend payout history. The stock market has since this year recorded about 1.46% return in CD term for the investors. However, in dollar term, the exchange has recorded negative return. This is due to the year-to-date loss of the CD to the dollar.
Now let's move on to one of our headline stories we have for you, and we do know that government today is expected to start paying coupon on bonds that were not swapped under the domestic debt exchange program. My colleague George Viafe has the rest of the story.
In a statement on February 27 announced that it will resume the payment of coupon and principals on bonds that matured last month. This was after the initial date was rescheduled due to what the ministry describes as delays in finalizing the settlement of bonds by persons that signed up to participate in the domestic debt exchange program. Sources close to the Ministry of Finance had then argued that the administrative work under these bonds that were swapped demanded a lot of time to ensure that the settlements are done well. That is why it had to push back the payment dates for these old bonds. The new date for paying these bonds is coming at a time that coupon payments on treasury bills have dropped significantly over the past 2 weeks. Some have argued that it was one of government's strategies to use this domestic debt exchange program to reduce interest payments on bonds and treasury bills issued by the government of Ghana. However, these bond payments are restricted to maturities and coupons for last month. But for many of these bondholders, will the Ministry of Finance kickstart the process of crediting their accounts at the Central Securities Depository? Well, maybe their fingers are crossed, waiting for their email alerts and messages on their phones.
My colleague George Viafe with that report there, and we shall certainly keep an eye on that development story, and we'll keep you posted as and when development unfolds on that bit. But let's move on to some other stories we've lined up for you this evening. The Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative has disclosed that it is working assiduously to ensure that pricing or better pricing of cocoa for farmers are ensured. Now, speaking at the Cocoa Advocacy Workshop, technical manager for the initiative, Tewia Mijakun Kwateng stated that although the living income differentials pricing was established not too long ago, farmers are still not benefiting from the program.
The Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative is an alliance set up by the presidents of the two countries to raise cocoa prices. The two countries jointly control 60% of global cocoa production. The two, in 2019, demanded a $400 premium from cocoa buyers called the living income differential. However, technical manager for the initiative, Tewia Kwateng, said more engagements are being held to increase cocoa prices.
At the Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative, we have been focused on working, representing our two countries to engage in a collaborative discussion with the various actors in the sector. As you know, volatile pricing has been a problem for the cocoa sector, which is not allowing the farmers to get the true benefits that they should be getting. We have engaged over the past few months actively with the partners in the industry to ensure that we kickstart conversations on the actions that we all need to take to help our farmers get better pricing. Our two countries put in place the LID price, the living income differential price mechanism a few years ago, and we are working together to ensure that the price mechanism is consolidated. We are looking at various actions that need to be taken and the accountability that needs to be put in place to ensure that we are able to get better prices for our farmers.
The National Fair Trade Platforms organized a cocoa advocacy workshop to discuss challenges and opportunities in the sector, new regulations and compliance, among others. Stephen Asia is a member of the Fair Trade Ghana Network.
This workshop is a very good workshop which was sponsored by AVSL, which is an equity program. And I think this is a very good program for us to have a meeting discussion on how we can improve the cocoa and also cocoa production and also the pricing of the cocoa, and then also making cocoa, the farmers having a living income.
President of Fair Trade Platform Côte d'Ivoire, Fortin Blé, lost the rationale behind the workshop. He is optimistic that proceedings of the workshop will translate into better livelihoods for farmers.
Depuis près d'une semaine, nous sommes à Accra pour participer à un séminaire sur le cacao. Nous sommes satisfaits d'avoir rencontré ce matin Madame Kwarteng, c'est ça, la dame de Côte d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative. Les initiatives qui ont été prises nous donnent l'espoir dans ce que nous faisons.
I am Mr. Blé Fortin, the president of the Fair Trade Platform in Côte d'Ivoire. We've been here for about 1 week now, and we are really happy for the initiative between the two countries, Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. And we hope that all those initiatives will enable our farmers to have a good living and provide good living for our farmers.
The Cocoa Advocacy Workshop was themed structuring the coordination of our platforms in order to strengthen our joint capacity for dialogue on the necessary fair sharing of value within the cocoa sector.
Now, hoteliers are raising concern about the astronomical increase in water bills. Edward Akanyamike Jr. earlier spoke to my colleague Darrell Kwao on the marketplace.
The tariff adjustment announced in January as against the one announced in August. So the January one referred to 8.3% increase for water and then 29.96% increase for electricity. So that's exactly what we're expecting. Even though we were hoping that upward adjustment would not happen, we're still expecting only for members to receive SMS messages. You know, this is the water company has gone digital, so we receive the bills by SMS. Now, the 11.22 approximate tariff had changed to 30. So let me give you an example. So for a company that receives, say, 233 consumption, when you multiply, so 198 consumption multiplied by the 30, the consumption comes to 5,940. As against the one in January, which was multiplied by the 11.219. So when we checked, there's been an actual increase in tariff of 167%. 167% over the tariff in January. As against the 8.3% announced. And we are beginning to realize that the PRC has actually created a new, I don't know the right word to use, but a new band for hoteliers and other commercial users. Because even the information we have, they don't have the current tariff based on which that increment was done. But of course, we were at 11.22 and now at 30. Now, service charge has also increased from 7 Ghana cedis and 29 pesos to 100 Ghana cedis. What is going on?
Now, the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, that's COPEC, Dan Kanamwa, is optimistic that the 600,000 barrels of Russian crude oil shipped and stored in Ghana will not stall Ghana's relationship with other international trading agencies. He's been speaking to my colleague James Ishen.
You see, in fuels trading, Russian cargo is not banned entirely. In fact, you can buy their cargo except that it has a cap of $60, meaning you shouldn't pay more for the Russian economy to be able to continue to fund the war. So buying cargo with Russia shouldn't be a problem. We are all for any way to get cheaper products if there's any such thing. We will be all for any way of getting much competitive prices on the market for the consumer if there's any such thing. There are regulatory issues. One, the refinery that is taking hold of the product is said not to have the kind of capacity to take that kind of volume, and questions are being asked as to how they intend to even do the processing and how to ease that also onto the market. That in itself doesn't make it bad or criminal. Again, you also have a situation where questions are being raised about whether indeed it is crude or it is AGO contained in that vessel. Is it a combination of the two? Are we simply signing off for finished products to come into the system? We have requested the refinery in question, their annual review fees. Does it take cognizance of such volumes? Because if you have BDCs to do that kind of trade, and then refineries are also taking stock of supposedly finished products, then it sends a wrong signal for business. And so a few issues around it, but generally, we don't have a problem if it is even Russian crude, because the international market is still patronizing. Europe can pretend not to want that crude, but once they trade with India, India is buying from Russia. So, inadvertently, they are still consuming that crude. And we believe strongly that if you were to knock out Russia completely from the international fuel supply market, prices could double overnight. Because their volumes are huge. 10% of global supply is something you cannot joke with. So whether we like it or not, the global system shakes off, but still finds a way to accept Russian crude. We don't have a problem with it, so long as prices are going to be competitive, so long as we are being told the exact truths, and not that some people are playing, different trade games, bringing finished products and saying it's crude. If we are satisfied as a country that these are within our regulatory parameters, then the NPA will be in the right to give them the go-ahead to discharge.
But one may say we've seen 20% fall in their revenue. Now let's look at Ghana. One may say in the long term, this could cause a serious problem for Ghana and its trading partners in other parts of the country. I don't know if you side with them.
Well, the Russian product or cargo, I do not anticipate should cause a problem. Rather, it should stimulate the market. You should have a situation where, because their prices are hugely competitive and there's a cap on them, what you buy from other parts of the world might be slightly higher. And I will be all up for getting that cargo because, like I indicated, you can read about embargo on Russia and what sort of embargo that the West has placed on them. Their products are still on the international market and is being patronized by countries. So buying from them should not spark any diplomatic row, except that we should be sure that indeed, is it crude we are bringing in? Is it finished products? AGO, like we are being told in some quarters.
A reminder, you're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Pious Kojo Backah. There will be more after this break. Hello, welcome back. The Microfinance and Small Loans Center, that's Masslock, says plans are underway to disburse some funds to members of the Association of Small-Scale Industries. Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive of Masslock, Hajia Shani Mahama says the funds, which will be allocated through the Apex Bank, will go a long way to empower local industries and improve livelihoods.
This year, we are going by our plan. Disbursement is an ongoing process, so we'll continue with the disbursements and our recoveries. And then what Masslock wants to achieve is to be able to impact every constituency in Ghana with our disbursements. And then our disbursements are both cash and the vehicle hire purchase. When you come to the vehicle hire purchase department, for example, we do the saloon cars, we do the oven buses, we do tricycles. So all of these things are things that we want every constituency in Ghana to have a feel of when it comes to Masslock. And the big thing is that Masslock is working with ASI, Association of Small Scale Industries. We have an MOU with them, and very soon we are going to disburse funds to them through Apex Bank. And this grant was given to us by the AFDB. So with ASI, they have presence in all 16 regions and all districts in Ghana. So definitely everybody is going to have, we cannot satisfy everybody, but what I mean by every district will have a feel or impact from Masslock this year.
Now, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization has announced a $3.9 million support project for micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises in Ghana. According to project manager in charge of food security and food system unit, Marine Mizuno, this is aimed at scaling up Ghana's national initiative on SMS.
According to Marine Mizuno, acquiring proper enterprise performance management skill is crucial to the sustainability of MSMEs and enterprises' growth, hence the need for the government of Japan to sustainably and continually improve quality and productivity of businesses in Ghana.
We have received in US dollars 3.9 million as a project fund, out of which we will be reaching out to, we're talking about hundreds of Ghanaian enterprises to provide support in terms of productivity management, quality management, resource efficiency. So the project, the main focus of the project is manufacturing sector, because this is where we can apply the enterprise performance management as well as Kaizen. And we particularly focus on the agribusinesses, because agribusinesses have a higher implication in terms of resource efficiency, environmental sustainability, and also the social development, because many of the enterprises, agribusinesses, are based not only in the city center, but are spread it into the rural areas. So the social factor is stronger in agribusinesses. So these are the main focus.
Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye, stated that the project is going to stimulate the national expansion drive for MSMEs with emphasis on production efficiency, food safety, and compliance to make them more efficient and competitive.
The Kaizen intervention is an intervention that was actually a concept that was designed by the Japanese to support manufacturing and businesses and industries. And what we've done over the past few years, over 7-8 years now, has been really implementing Kaizen in businesses across the length and breadth of the country. Now, over the years, we realized that there was the need to expand this intervention across the country and focus on agribusinesses and how to sustain those businesses. So this new project, which is funded by JICA and is being implemented by UNIDO and Ghana Enterprises Agency, is supposed to support these agribusinesses by providing them with the technical assistance and knowledge to be able to build their businesses. Alongside that is what they call the SSAB, which is a technology platform that would help businesses understand their productivity improvements based on the interventions that we provide for them.
The call for proposal for this program will be open until the 30th of April for the enterprises to apply. The selection will be duly conducted for the final nomination of the enterprises to be supported under the program.
Thanks so much for being part of the program. I am Pious Kojo Backah. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. We leave you with Money Lab.
Hi there, welcome to Money Lab. My name is Nadole Avevo and I'll be your life insurance friend for today. Now, on our last episode, we had a look at what life insurance is. Today, it's about why we buy life insurance. Yes, why do you buy life insurance? Now, we buy life insurance to cover our loved ones and, most importantly, ourselves. We want our loved ones to be covered, when unforeseen events such as death, disability, or hospitalization happens. Do you have life insurance? Get covered. Now, see you again next time on Money Lab.